I'm Anil Kumar, and this video is for my subscriber who wants to understand how to find dimensions of a rectangle when ratio of the sides is given. So I exactly don't know what level I should be getting into. So I've just made up a question and I hope that helps. If it helps, good. Otherwise, you can again post the type of question you really want to understand. So the question here which I've written for you is, find the dimensions of a rectangle for the following condition. So we'll begin with a very simple condition, as you mentioned in my YouTube video. Ratio of the sides is 1:2. So what I'm trying to say here is, find dimensions of a rectangle whose ratio of the side is 1:2. So it's a very general question. We say all possible dimensions of a rectangle whose sides are in the ratio of 1:2. So that is how I framed my question, right? So what I'm trying to say here is that if we have a rectangle kind of like this, then rectangle has two dimensions. It's a two-dimensional figure, length and width. So what I'm saying here is that length and width, these are, I should say, 1:2. I'm assuming width to be smaller. This ratio is 1:2. This is what I'm trying to say. Correct? So clearly, if width is W, then length is 2 times W. So from here, we get a relation that length is equals to 2 times W. Is that okay? So if I take width as 1, length is 2. If width is 2, length will be 4, 2 times, correct? So we get many solutions for this particular pattern, right? It is kind of a pattern. So in this particular case, we can say that length is equals to 2 times width. And if we restrict ourselves to set of natural numbers, we say width is natural numbers, then the dimensions of the rectangle could be 1, 2, 2, 4, like this, right? So the different dimensions we could get is by using a table of values, right? So we could have table of values where we can write, well, width and length. So if the width is 1, then the length is 2. If the width is 2, length will be 4. If the width is 3, it will be 6, 4, 8, and so on. So if I have a very open question like this, we could kind of generalize in this fashion, right? Now here, it is important to see that if I plot a graph for this length and width, then what do I get? If I put width on my x-axis and length on my y-axis, in that case 1, 2 means at 1 the value is 2, at 2 the value is, let us say this is 4 for us, right? So it goes in this particular pattern in a straight line kind of, right? So which I could connect with the dashed line. So whenever I'm connecting with dashed line, then all the points in between are not included. We are only including the natural numbers. As you can see, this particular question has many solutions. Now to restrict the number of solutions, we can impose some conditions, right? So let us impose some conditions. We say ratio of the sides is 1:2. Or we say, well, our perimeter is 30. Let's say we have perimeter of rectangle, let me show like this, is equals to 30 centimeter, right? In that case, what can be the dimensions? So I'm just adding more conditions to the given condition of ratio being 1:2. So now the question is that the ratio of the sides of a rectangle are 1:2 and the perimeter is 30. Find the dimensions of the rectangle. You get the point, right? So now that is the question. So how to solve this kind of a question? If perimeter is 30, we know what perimeter is. Perimeter is 2 times length plus width. We know perimeter is 30. That means 30 is equals to 2 times length plus width. We could always write length as 2 times width, right? 2 times width plus width. Since length is twice width, that is the condition given to us, right? And if you solve this particular question, So what do you get? We get 2 times width plus width is 3, 3 times 2 is 6. So we get 6 times width is 30, or we say width is equals to 30 divided by 6, which is 5. Clearly, if width is 5, then length will be 2 times 5 or equals to 10. So, for this particular condition, that is to say, when the perimeter is 30 centimeters, then what are the dimensions? So for this particular condition, we have width of 5 centimeters and length of 10 centimeters. You get the idea. So if more than one condition is given on the 2 dimensions of the rectangle, then we get one particular solution. You get the idea, right? So if I give you a question to solve and say, well, this is my third question, and that is a question for you to answer, and the question is, if area equals to 50 meters square, in that case, what are the dimensions? So that is the question for you. If area is 50 meters square and ratio of width to length is 1:2, the same ratio, right? So in that case, find the dimensions of the rectangle. So you can pause the video, answer the question, and then look into my answer, right? So my answer will be area's length into width. So we know 50 is my area. So let me just make a room for the solution also here. So we have 50 as area, which is length times width. But we know length is 2 times width. So we get 2 times width, which is 2 width square. So if I divide by 2, I get 25 is equals to square of the width. So clearly, width again is 5. And the length will be 2 times 5. So in this case, length will be 2 times 5 equals to 10. And so for area of 100 meters square, what I have is the dimension, which is kind of 5 times 10, right? Both in meters this time. So we have the answer as 5 meters by 10 meters, right? So we again get 5 and 10 as the numbers, but the units are in meters since the area is in meters square. So likewise, you can solve questions on rectangle dimensions if you are given ratio of the sides, if you are given perimeter or area. I hope this video really helps you and many others to understand how to solve questions relating to triangles, their perimeter, area, and ratio of sides. Thank you and all the best.